Welcome to the world of a star who has taken the music industry by storm in a way we haven't seen in years. If you have been on social media, turned on the radio, or watched any major award shows recently, you have definitely seen the name Chappell Roan. She is the artist everyone is talking about, known for her incredible voice, her catchy songs, and most notably, her extremely bold and theatrical makeup. She often appears with a completely white face, heavy glitter, and costumes that look like they came straight out of a fairy tale or a circus. But behind the thick layers of paint and the giant wigs is a young woman who is just beginning to navigate the massive pressure of global fame. Recently, at the age of 27, Chappell Roan did something that left her fans and the general public completely stunned. She decided to step away from her mask and show the world what she looks like without a single drop of stage makeup. Today, we are going to explore the journey of Chappell Roan, from her small-town roots to her status as a pop icon, and we will talk about the moment she bared it all for the world to see. Make sure you stay with us until the very end of the video, because the final reason why she chose to remove her makeup is a powerful message about mental health that every fan needs to hear. You won't want to miss the real story behind her transformation. To understand why Chappell Roan's no-makeup look is such a big deal, we first have to look at where she came from. Long before she was Chappell Roan, she was Kaylee Rose Amstutz, a young girl growing up in a very small, conservative town in Missouri. She was raised in a trailer park and spent much of her childhood feeling like she didn't quite fit in. She was a creative, sensitive soul in a place where people tended to follow traditional paths. From a very young age, Kaylee knew she wanted to sing. She spent hours at her piano, writing songs that expressed the feelings she couldn't say out loud. This background is a huge part of her identity today. When you see her on stage in her wild costumes, it is her way of finally being the person she wasn't allowed to be back in her hometown. She has turned her life into a living piece of art, but that art often hides the girl from Missouri. Her rise to fame was not easy or fast. In fact, it was quite a struggle. She moved to Los Angeles as a teenager after being signed to a major record label, but things didn't go as planned. She released music that didn't quite find an audience, and eventually, the label dropped her. This could have been the end of her career. Many people would have given up and moved back home. But Kaylee had a vision. She started working with a producer who understood her love for 80s pop and drag queen culture. She reinvented herself as Chappell Roan, a name she took as a tribute to her grandfather. This new identity allowed her to be bold, loud, and fearless. She began wearing the white face paint and the dramatic eyes as a way to separate her stage persona from her real life. It was a form of armor that protected her while she shared her most private feelings in her lyrics. The year 2024 was when everything changed for her. With the release of her album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, Chappell became a global sensation. Songs like Hot T.O. Go and Good Luck Babe became the anthems of the summer. Suddenly, she wasn't just playing small clubs. She was performing in front of tens of thousands of people at festivals like Coachella and Lollapalooza. Every time she stepped onto the stage, her makeup became more elaborate. She dressed as the Statue of Liberty, a butterfly, and even a medieval knight. The public was fascinated by her look. They loved the mystery of not knowing exactly what she looked like under all that paint. But as her fame grew, so did the intensity of the spotlight. People began to follow her every move, and the pressure to be perfect and on all the time started to take a toll. If you are still watching, you are probably starting to see why the no-makeup reveal was so impactful. For Chappell, the makeup was a choice, but it also became a barrier. People began to treat her like a character in a movie rather than a human being. Recently, Chappell started to speak out about the difficulties of being famous. She talked about how fans would approach her in public and be creepy or disrespectful, forgetting that she is a person with feelings. This led to the gasp moment that everyone is talking about. Chappell began sharing photos and videos where she had completely removed her stage makeup. Without the white paint and the glitter, fans saw a young woman with natural skin, soft features, and a look that was incredibly relatable. She looked stunning, but in a way that was very different from her stage version. When these photos first surfaced, the internet exploded. People who only knew her as the girl with the white face were shocked to see how beautiful she is in a natural way. But more than that, they were surprised by her bravery. In the world of pop music, everything is usually very polished and edited. To see a superstar show her real face, including things like redness, freckles, or tired eyes, was a breath of fresh air. It made her fans feel closer to her. They realized that the Midwest princess was still just Kaylee from Missouri. This reveal wasn't just about showing her face. It was about showing her soul. She was telling the world, I am not just a doll or a character. I am a person, and this is who I am when the show is over. The reason you will easily recognize the real Chappell Roan is because she has a natural glow that no amount of glitter can recreate. Fans started to notice that when she removes her makeup, she looks much younger and more vulnerable. At 27, she is in a place where she is still figuring out her life, just like many of her listeners. By showing her fresh face, she is encouraging her fans to embrace their own natural beauty. She has spoken about how she used to hate her skin or feel insecure about how she looked without the armor of her costumes. But now, she is learning to love the person in the mirror. This message of self-acceptance is huge for a generation of young people who are constantly bombarded with perfect images on social media. But it isn't just about photos. Chappell has started appearing in interviews and even some low-key performances with much less makeup. She is finding a balance between the theatrical Chappell Roan and the real Kaylee Rose. This transition has made people look twice at her career. They are realizing that she doesn't need the costumes to be a star. Her voice and her songwriting are strong enough to stand on their own. When she performed on shows like Saturday Night Live or during her Tiny Desk concert, the focus was on her talent, not just her outfit. This shows her growth as an artist. She is moving from being a viral sensation to being a serious musician who will be around for a very long time. If you are still with us, we want to talk about how she maintains her health while wearing such heavy makeup all the time. As you can imagine, putting thick white paint on your face every day is not great for your skin. Chappell has joked about how much she has to spend on skincare to keep her face from breaking out. But she also focuses on her internal health. She has been very open about her struggles with her mental health and how the fast pace of fame has caused her a lot of stress. She takes time off when she needs to, and she isn't afraid to set boundaries with her fans. This honesty is another reason why her no-makeup look is so important. It represents her taking care of herself. It shows that she is prioritizing her well-being over her image. As we get closer to the end of the video, let's look at the impact she has had on the world of fashion. Even when she isn't wearing her stage makeup, Chappell has a very unique style. She loves vintage clothes, bright colors, and things that feel fun. She has turned her Midwest princess look into a global trend. People are dressing up as her for Halloween and for her concerts, wearing pink cowboy hats and lots of glitter. But Chappell is also showing them the other side, the side that wears a simple t-shirt and has messy hair. She is teaching her fans that fashion is about play, but identity is about being true to yourself. You can be a glamorous queen one day and a regular person the next, and both versions are valid. Thank you so much for watching this whole video until the very end. Your support means the world to us as we bring you these stories about the stars who are changing the world. If you enjoyed learning about Chappell Roan's journey and the real story behind her makeup, make sure to let us know. We love hearing your thoughts and bringing you the latest updates on the celebrities you care about. Chappell is a great example of how to stay grounded while your life is changing at light speed. Keep listening to her music, stay true to yourself, and remember that you are stunning exactly as you are, with or without the glitter. We will see you in the next video.